Good evening, wherever you are watching us from across East Africa. This is KTN Weekend Prime, this 22nd day of August 2015. My name is Yvonne Okwara Matole.
My name is John Allen. We're taking forward the discussion on food in this country and talking about the land tenure system, land administration, and some of the proposed laws around minimum and maximum acreage and how they parry with land and agriculture. Interesting discussion. We've got very interesting guests as well coming in later on in this bulletin. And the hashtag, yes, and the hashtag tonight is land for food. And I'll say that one again, land for food. We don't have it up behind us today. You can contribute to that discussion. Of course, give us your insights onto whether Kenya's land administration policies are indeed helping or hurting our competitiveness with regard to agriculture.
And also, I think our attitudes, personally, that's government administration, but what's our attitude towards land in this country? You know, how do we treat it? How do we use it? What do we think we use it for? You know, everyone who gets a job says, once I've gotten a 10 by, my life is made, I'm done. So we'll be taking a look at that as well at KTN News, at John Alanamu, at Yvonne Okwara. Also 22155 is the SMS number. Land for food is a hashtag we're using on social media. But we also have the day's top stories for you, and here they are.
Surprise security operation in Garissa after terror suspect allegedly confesses to the police.
Remembering Jomo Kenyatta, his son calls on Kenyans to unite for progress.
Na akatuahidi tukiwa tunamulinda kwa kumtengezea gari hatutahangaika.
The president's mechanic. Meet the man who took care of Jomo Kenyatta's Mercedes Benz.
Kumekuwa na maroho ambayo si ya kawaida ambayo yananena kinyume na kaunti ya Taita-Taveta.
And the cry of Taita-Taveta. Evil spirits blamed for problems bedeviling the Kenyan county. We begin the bulletin with news just in from Garissa County here in Kenya, where a major security operation has been underway the whole day and part of last night. Now, a source inside the security agencies there has just informed KTN that the 7 terror suspects the police have been hunting down have just been arrested. The source says 7 grenades, 7 pistols, and several rounds of ammunition have been recovered from the suspects. The police have been on the trail of the suspect since one man arrested while trying to leave Ifo camp in Dadaab refugee camp allegedly confessed to police that he and several accomplices were on a mission to carry out terror attacks in different unnamed locations. Garissa County has been restive ever since the April 2nd terror attack in which 147 people were killed at the Garissa University College. And as KTN's Ian Wafula now reports, today's security operation caught Garissa residents by surprise, and many of them had no idea what the many roadblocks and home visits by police officers were all about.
No stone was left unturned in this sandy and rocky part of the country. Garissa residents woke up to a surprise operation by the administration police. It took close to 4 hours. Anyone who made their way to the roadblocks had to identify themselves, an irony for most residents, as many here are without identification cards. Oblivious of these facts, the officers took their operations to the households too, puzzling many families who are probably enjoying family time with schools closed. But the Garissa security team, led by Northeastern Regional Coordinator Ambassador Mahmoud Saleh, say the operation was for a worthy cause as they aim to fish out criminals now masquerading as innocent civilians.
They should not harbor these criminals in their midst. Let them give us the information so that we can capture them and deal with them according to the law.
Early in the day, a suspect seen in these photos was arrested while boarding a bus from one of the refugee camps in Dadaab. His identification card said he was a resident of Mandera, and further questioning revealed that he was on a terror attack mission alongside his colleagues. Many speculated the arrest is what prompted the operation.
Anybody harboring a criminal of that nature, a terrorist, is also a terrorist. And the government of Kenya has a resolve to deal with this matter once and for all.
Garissa has been one of the worst hit counties by terrorists in the recent past. In April, at least 147 students of Garissa University College were killed after being held hostage. This prompted an overhaul and restructuring of the entire security team. And now, the new team is assuring residents that there is no room for terrorists in the county. Ian Wafula, KTN News.
Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has called for unity and harmony amongst Kenyans. The president was speaking at the Holy Family Basilica, Minor Basilica in Nairobi during the 37th anniversary memorial service for his father, Kenya's first president, Jomo Kenyatta.
It is that time of the year again when the first family comes together to pay tribute to the memory of the country's founding father, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. The president was joined by First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, members of the first family, former First Lady Mama Ngina Kenyatta, to lay wreaths at Kenyatta's final resting place at Parliament Buildings. This comes at a time when Malava Member of Parliament Moses Injendi is calling for Mzee Kenyatta's mausoleum to be made open to members of the public who were born after Jomo Kenyatta's death for the sake of passing down history. Uhuru asked Kenyans to work together in order to achieve the dreams of the nation's founding fathers, such as fighting hunger and poverty.
This country requires us to work in unity, in harmony, in order for us to be able to achieve the noble objectives that our forefathers set out for us, to defeat disease, hunger, and poverty in our nation. If we were to work together, if we were to live to those ideals, we would definitely be able to achieve great things for this country. So mine really is to ask each and every one of us to reflect on those words, and on this day of rest, ask ourselves, what can we do to further the dreams of our forefathers?
Jomo Kenyatta died peacefully in his sleep at the Mombasa State House in 1978. Trix Ingado, KTN News.
And as Kenyans remembered the first president of Kenya on this 37th anniversary of his death, KTN's Nicholas Omboa caught up with one man who was the sole mechanic taking care of Jomo Kenyatta's Mercedes-Benz vehicles in Nairobi. Here is the story of Muya or Mercedes, as he was fondly referred to by his compatriots.
For quite a while now, he has been working in the informal sector, what Kenyans refer to as the Juakali business in the industrial area of Nairobi. Muya has been a mechanic since his early 20s, but is not just a mechanic. He has specialized in the Mercedes type of vehicles, that is known to many of his customers as Muya or Mercedes.
Watu wanaulizananga Muya gani ile ya Mercedes. Hiyo Mercedes ni ile magari nimespecialize naye. Na ndio natengenezanga hata wa leo.
It was not an easy task for the men of the engines, as they were forced to work around the clock. This was due to the president's tight schedules that needed his vehicles in good state all through.
Na magari zake silikuwa magari 4 Mercedes. Ile ilikuwa visual cars. Sa kwenda shambani na sa kwenda mahali mrefu kama Nakuru, Mombasa na tuseme kama Tanzania. Lakini tulikuwa zote ziwe mobile za zote.
Memories of him being denied permission to travel abroad because the president's team solely depended on him are still fresh in his mind.
Ikawa hatuwezi kupelekwa kutengeza hiyo gari ya president ya kwanza Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Tukawa hatuwezi kupelekwa shauri, hakuna mtu atawachiwa. Sasa ikabidi tuwe tukitolewa walimu kutoka ngambo wanakuja kutufunza, na ikabidi president ya kwanza huyu Mzee Jomo Kenyatta aje kufungua. Sasa wakati alifika hapo alisema aonyeshwe ile mafundi yake wao anasikianga wanatengeza gari yake. Ndio tukawa tumepangwa hapo, tukaonyeshwa yeye, tukasalimiana na yeye, tukapikwa picha na yeye, na akatuahidi tukiwa tunamlinda kwa kumtengezea gari hatutahangaika.
Despite the president's promise, efforts to reach him were futile. However, Muya continued with the job during President Moi's regime, but nothing changed from the usual promises.
Nilikuwa nikifikiria kwa vile nilitengezea mapresident ya wawili ya kwanza ya Kenya, President Jomo Kenyatta, President Daniel Arap Moi, mimi nitakuwa mtu shauri nimeweka bidii, na hii bidii yangu hakuna mtu ananiangalia. Mimi nahangaika huko tu kwa jua kali. Hata sasa nikitaka kwenda kuona president, naambiwa na huyu nitakupeleka, naambiwa na huyu nitakupeleka, naambiwa na huyu nitakupeleka, na hakuna siku, ni uongo tu tupu.
He now operates this Juakali garage, hoping that the late President Jomo Kenyatta's son, who is the current President Uhuru Kenyatta, can stretch a hand of favor to his father's loyal mechanic.
Ningeona president wetu aone kama iko kitu anaweza fanyia mimi, na pia mimi nifanye kufundisha watu wakoe kama mimi. Shauri ujuzi ni naye, sasa nikiwacho namna hiyo itasorota hapa. Shauri saa zote sina kimbizwa na kanzu.
Having been the late President Jomo Kenyatta's mechanic for over 9 years, Muyo Masidi says the government he so loved dearly left him in absolute poverty. Nick Wambua, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, climbing Africa's second highest mountain can't be an easy feat even for the fittest person. However, one man has broken the barriers by being the oldest man to have climbed up to Peak Lenana successfully. 81-year-old Naizi Gebrenebin marked his 81st birthday by going up Point Lenana of Mount Kenya. KTN's Carol Derry witnessed this feat.
While some people prefer to mark their birthdays with fanfare, others do it in relative silence. One man chose to mark his birthday by attempting to climb up to Lenana Peak of Mount Kenya. Definitely no mean feat for an 81-year-old. We caught up with Nazgi Gebrenebin at the Narumoru River Lodge in Kieninyeri County. Evidently excited about turning 81 years old, we wondered if he would indeed successfully climb Mount Kenya. A man of wit and humor, the American citizen originally hails from Eritrea. He assured us that he is indeed fit and even does 1,500 push-ups daily. As if to prove to the doubting Thomases that he walks the talk, he hit the ground with relative ease, without relenting. He smoothly did the push-ups that would put to shame any young person.
So I was fortunate enough to be born with the physique of a mountaineer, with lots of red cells, and the red cells are the ones that take in oxygen, big chest, probably a small head, but a very big chest.
He first came to Kenya in 1974. This will not be the first time that he climbs Mount Kenya. The last time he went up the mountain, he was with veteran politician Kenneth Matiba, then their team leader.
True to his word, he succeeded to get everyone up there. Everyone. Men, women, old men, young men, all of us were able to get up there. We had a wonderfully sumptuous meal at the end of it, with tablecloth and champagne, and I just was so impressed with the way he led us all up to the top of Point Lenana.
Last year, Nazgi marked his 80th birthday by going up Mount Kilimanjaro. Confident of his ability to make it to Lenana Peak, he assured us that he would talk to us when he descended from Lenana. 2 days later, we waited for Nazgi at the Narumoru River Lodge, Mount Kenya climbing base. Though his arrival was anticipated to be at about 4 p.m., a long wait later, just as nightfall descended, there came a very tired Nazgi. Despite encountering some knee trouble, he did make it to Point Lenana. A couple of falls and setbacks did not deter him from finishing the climb.
Normally, from Makinder's hut to Met Station, these guys, porters and guides, they take only 2 hours. You know how long it took me? 6. And I feel extremely sad in a way that I kept them so long.
While dedicating his success to his good friend Kenneth Matiba, Nazgi was upbeat about marking his birthday just as he wanted. Nazgi is therefore one of 2 of the oldest men to have reached Point Lenana. Another 81-year-old man did so in the past.
His guides, George Okoit and Anthony Nderito, too were amazed at his determination and patience.
Kila mtu aliguswa. Ani alizungumzia umuhimu ile hii safari yote. Kwa nini amekuja pale na lengo lake ni nini? Lengo lake ni kufika kule juu, kutoa shukrani kwa Mungu na kwa rafiki yake mkubwa Mr. Kenneth Matiba.
He eats well and takes yogurt with honey every day, and this, he says, is his little secret of success. He says you can achieve what you set your mind to with zeal, determination, and confidence. Carol Derry, KTN News at the Narumoru River Lodge, Nyeri County.
Drop and give me 60.
I swear that is one of the most amazing things that I've seen on TV
He looks
recently.
60. I mean, you know, at the most.
Not only does he look 60, the feat itself of climbing up Mount Kenya is something that I don't think anybody over here has done.
Speak for yourself.
At this, have you?
No, not quite.
Yeah, you haven't. Yeah?
Not at all.
It just brings to mind a story that Wallace Kantai, who works at NTV, was telling us about how he struggled and he got, what is it called? It's mountain sickness. Somewhere along the way, Wallace.
Well, at least he's
you're
tried
watching,
it.
there's an 81-year-old somewhere with your number. Yeah, but at least he's tried.
At least he's tried, which is what not we can say for most of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but very inspiring for him there.
Amazing story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
So we move from that inspiring one to another of sadness. 5 children who perished when lightning struck in Lugari last week were laid to rest today.
Leaders in Western Kenya urged the government to set up lightning arresters in the area in order to prevent a repeat of such tragedies.
The leaders also complained about the amount of money given to the families of the deceased, saying it was too little. The children were playing under a tree at Lumakanda Primary School when the lightning struck.
Wakati kama huu kuonekana kitendo kama hii bado inafanyika. Tunataka serikali ichukue jukumu, ijue ya kwamba vitendo kama hizi zinaweza fanyika, na hizi zilikuwa vitendo za zamani. Waweke lightning arresters kwa mashule.
Kila familia pesa ya county inatakana iwe shilingi 1,100. Pana letea familia shilingi 50,000. Muna madharau gani?
Life behind bars is not appealing, but once in a long while there comes a moment when an inmate can afford to smile, dance and just relax. And for inmates at the Nairobi Rehabilitation Prison in Industrial Area Nairobi, that day was today. KTN's Timothy Atieno spent the day with the inmates there and now tells us their story.
A line of people slowly snakes its way inside Nairobi Rehabilitation Prison. Regular prison activities here have been halted, for you see, nothing is regular about today for the inmates here. Prison authorities have organized an open day that has seen the rehabilitation center packed with family and friends of the inmates. And indeed, the tears could not be held back. Inmates catching up with their loved ones. They're normally not this free to interact. Visiting hours are often limited, but today they'll spend hours chatting. Perhaps none appreciates this opportunity more than 28-year-old David Mwangi. He arrived at this facility in 2013, accused of murder with his mother, who is currently at the Langata Women's Prison. His trial is still ongoing, but for now, that is the least of his worries. He has seen his 2 daughters for the first time in over 1.5 years. Prison officials here want their inmates to never lose touch with their families on the outside.
We thought it is good to link them up here. It is good to make these parents who are here to be in touch with their children, to follow up with their school progress, to continue playing the role that our parents play.
Many of the inmates here are serving time for capital offences, but they're using their time quite well. This inmate shows his family his month-long toil. Bead bracelets they'll carry with them home as a reminder of their visit today.
Wafungwa wenzetu wakiwa hapa ndani, mtu ajaribu kubadilika jinsi wanavyofundishwa na maafisa wa gereza.
The officials hope the open day will tighten not only the bonds between inmates and their families, but also the wardens here, with the hope that their rehabilitation process will be much smoother.
So it is such programs that allow the over 3,000 inmates here at the Nairobi Remand Prison to interact with their friends and family, and with the hopes that when they go back to society, they will be embraced as new and rejuvenated individuals. But for today, the song and dance continues here at the prison as they interact with their families and reminisce of the past, the present, and possibly the future. Timothy Otieno, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, the following story may sound crazy, but the matter is of a very serious nature and of concern to the people involved. Clergymen and the county executive for tourism in Taita-Taveta County in Kenya have raised an alarm about demons and other evil spirits causing a myriad of economic problems in their county. It's a serious matter. I don't even know why I'm smiling. They say these dark forces have slowed down development in Taita-Taveta. Murimi Mwangi with those details.
One of the many misdeeds blamed on evil spirits, and once too often when this happens, clergymen come in handy in exorcising the demons. But in Taita-Taveta County, the demons are allegedly doing more than just that. And they are on the prowl, this according to County Executive for Tourism, Mr. Alexander Mwangeka.
Ni maroho ambayo yanaongea kinyume na maendeleo ya county hii.
These skulls are what remains of the shrines where not too long ago residents went out to intercede with the souls of their elders long dead. But now Mr. Mwangeka and clergymen in the county are up in arms claiming evil spirits are operating from here, and the outcome, the many problems bedeviling the county, including joblessness and underdevelopment.
Tumeona wasichana hedhi zao ama monthly periods zikiwa wana overbleed. Hiyo si hali ambayo ni ya kawaida. Tumeona njaa ambayo imekuwa katika kaunti hii, vijana kutokuwa na kazi. Yani kumekuwa na maroho ambayo si ya kawaida, ambayo yananena kinyume na kaunti ya Taita-Taveta.
Hatujajinasua katika ile hali ya fikira za zamani ya kutoka katika mambo ya conservative. Hatujiendelezi mbele na tunapenda habari ya kukaa pamoja karibu.
Superstition is not a new topic in Taita-Taveta. 3 years ago, this letter, allegedly drafted by members of a devil-worshipping cult, surfaced, purportedly summoning them for a night meeting to discuss the decline of the forces of darkness in the county, a development which ignited a lot of fear among residents here.
Hayo madhabahu ya Figi, madhabahu ya Mbenge, madhabahu ya Mumanga, madhabahu ya Seso, ni lazima madhabahu hayo tukaweze kuyavunja na tuweze kusimamisha madhabahu ya Mwenyezi Mungu, ndio kaunti hii ikaweze kupona.
Sioni kama ni kweli. Ningeomba wao wenyewe washikane, wapendane. Wakishapendana na hizo itikadi zote wazilani kwamba wao ni Wakristo, kama ni Waislamu, wajue kwamba wanamuomba Mungu, kwamba itikadi za watu walioondoka walienda na itikadi zao. Na sisi tuliobaki ambao tunamwambia mimi Mungu wa kweli, tumuombe Mungu wa kweli atuondolee hizi shida ambazo zinatupata, kwamba watu wanajinyonga, watu wana rep watoto wao, mtu anakaa na mtoto wake ama na binamu nani anamuona kwamba ni mwanamke.
For now, Mr. Alexander Mwangeka, the Taita-Taveta County Executive for Tourism and Natural Resources, wants residents to turn out in large numbers to pray for the county and rid it of all the demons. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.
All right, so you can imagine a session before the Senatorial Committee on Oversight as the reasons given behind non-performance of the county. But like John Alanamo said, that's a serious story. Ugandan presidential aspirant Omar Kalige Nyago was last evening arrested for allegedly holding an illegal meeting. Omar Nyago and his opposition colleagues were heading into Makerere University to attend a seminar organized by Muslim students of the university. Here's a report from our partners, NBS.
Independent presidential aspirant Daudi Kalinge Nyago was aligned before Grade 1 Magistrate Baligea Moses Mufumbiro of the Law Development Center Court and charged with unlawful assembly and for attempting to organize an assembly to provoke others. This was in response to last Friday's botched meeting organized by Makerere University students. The university administration cancelled the meeting, citing a guest list that only included opposition leaders, forcing the police to square off with the gathered leaders, including Kalinge Nyago.
Okay, don't touch me. Who you are saying? But here, my orders. Get to my orders properly. Get to my orders properly. I can't take unlawful orders. You come. Yes, I'm arresting you for inciting violence.
City lawyer Asman Basalirwa, who represented Kalinge Nyago in court, accused the state of witch-hunting his client a day after he picked presidential nomination forms.
So Mr. Kalinge's being here is political. It has nothing to do with the function that took place on Friday. The truth of the matter is that yesterday, Engineer Kalinge Nyago picked nomination forms to contest for the president of this country. And Mr. Museveni is trying to use Mr. Kalinge Nyago to send a message to Ugandans out there. He is now concerned that many people are coming to pick forms.
Nyago was given a 50,000 shillings cash bail, while his sureties paid 500,000 shillings non-cash. The case was adjourned to 21st September 2015.
U.S. Ambassador Robert Godek today officiated at the launch of a new initiative to try and lift the people of Nairobi's Kibra settlement area out of extreme poverty. The initiative will be run through a new company called Shining Hope for Communities, SHOFCO, the acronym, and the company aims to combat gender inequality and extreme poverty in urban slums by linking tuition-free schools for girls to social services like access to free healthcare, education, clean water and toilet facilities. The company, which was founded by 27-year-old Kennedy Odede, has seen residents of Kibera raise over 12 million shillings. Kennedy started Shining for Hope Communities in 2004.
Under the banner called SUN, SHOFCO Urban Movement. No, so they start businesses in the community. Now they have a circle.
I've had an opportunity to see some of the things that SHOFCO has done, and it's really quite extraordinary. Delivering clean water to 100,000 people, healthcare to 86,000 people.
SHOFCO has done already amazing work. They have a clinic. I think they see 300 people a day, almost 4,000 people in a month, over 4,000 people in a month. They have a daycare for mothers who are working as domestic workers and need a place to leave their baby so they can go to work. They also have a library where kids can go and read, because most of them don't have lighting or kerosene in their homes. They also have a youth empowerment program, and they have a SACCO. They have women, where they help some women to be able to make several items which they can sell. They also have a school for girls.
Defending Driftwood Sevens champions Homeboys RFC qualified for the main cup quarters, winning all its group matches to keep alive hopes of emerging champions in Mombasa. There were no major upsets recorded on day one of the tournament, with the big guns now plotting for day two Sunday. Lynn Washira has the details.
After rugby action in Nairobi for the Christie Sevens and in Kisumu for the Dallas Sevens, the National Sevens Circuit action moved to Mombasa for the Driftwood Sevens, which is the third leg of the National Sevens Circuit, happening here at the Mbaraki Stadium for the first time. Traditionally, the Driftwood Sevens has always been happening at the Mombasa Sports Club, only to be moved to this new venue that is traditionally also known for football.
We didn't agree with the conditions set for us to host it at Mombasa Sports Club, so we opted for Mbaraki. Recent years it's only been football and athletics, so we had to do some modifications to bring it up to the standard of a rugby field.
And well, quite an action-packed day one it has been here at the Mbaraki Stadium, where the third leg of the National Sevens Circuit, the Driftwood Sevens, is going down, of course, with the usual suspects making it through to the main top quarters. We have the likes of Kenya Harlequins, the likes of Mwamba. We also have the Strathmore Leos. And of course, in this tournament, Homeboys are the defending Driftwood champions, and they will be looking forward into defending the title.
We brought most experienced team, and step by step, I think we will be able to reclaim our trophy.
Well, this year it has been tough, I must tell you. The pedigree of the game has really heightened. I'll say that because you can see even we have some Fiji on the circuit. We already have two winners, separate winners from within the first two. We won't be shocked if we get a third one this weekend.
After successful completion of the day one of the third leg of the National Sevens Circuit, the Driftwood Sevens, right here at the Mbaraki Stadium, focus now shifts to tomorrow, which is the second and final day of the Driftwood Sevens, as most of the teams hope to close in and better their positions at the standings going into the last two legs of the National Sevens Circuit in Nakuru and Nairobi. Lynn Washira, KTN.
Let's take you from Mombasa to Rwanda now. Sinyolo girls successfully defended their hockey title in the East Africa Secondary School Games after thrashing City High 10-0. Elsewhere, chaos unfolded after defending champion St. Mary's Kitende were knocked out of the competition by Alliance High. And as Robinson Okenya reports from Rwanda, Kenyan schools will be taking part in the majority of the finals on Sunday.
It was time to separate the chaff from the green as the East Africa Secondary Schools got into Day 7 in Huye, Rwanda. In football, defending champions Chitende from Rwanda were knocked off their perch as they lost to Alliance High from Tanzania 1-0 in a highly emotional match. After the match, however, things turned chaotic after Chitende players attacked the referee with claims that he favored their opponents during the match. Police had to be called into action to bring the stadium to peace following the clash. Alliance High will now play Masaka from Uganda in the finals.
Nasikitika sana na nachelea kusema inabidi waandaaji au wafiasa waangalie mara mbili. Kama ni mwanafunzi hawezi kufanya kitendo cha namna hii.
In basketball, defending girls champion Shimba Hills are on course for a third successive title after emerging winners over St. Bridget's in an energy-sapping match. Despite losing the first quarter 11-15, Shimba rallied from behind to win the match 55-44. In boys basketball, 2013 champions Apael proceeded to the finals of this year's competition after emerging 68-57 winners over Iteni from Rwanda. The former national champions will play ETG from Burundi in the final. In hockey, Sinyolo successfully defended their hockey title for the third time after 10-0 thrashing of City High from Uganda. Earlier on, Trans Nzoia from Kenya powered Pastol Kampala with a 13-0 win. As the East African Secondary School Games got into Day 7, it was a battlefield in different matches as the competition got into the semi-finals. But the match between St. Mary's Kitende from Uganda and Alliance High from Tanzania overshadowed everything. And the chaos witnessed here today goes a long way to show the levels of football development in Africa. Robinson Okenya, KTN Sports, Huye, Rwanda.
Take a look at the feedback tonight. Land for Food was a hashtag. Tanui Nick says land is a symbol of identity, a sense of belonging to many Kenyan communities. Its output, though, is not considered. And there's another one from Jerry Ogo on Twitter, says we must cap the minimum and maximum sizes of agricultural land permissible for subdivision.
Evelyn Naiserai says land is important to our food security and sovereignty, but need to balance external investors' interests. And Chess Titans 254 asks a question of concern to me is how you mechanize 0.8 acres of land. Is that really possible? And that's something that perhaps will be covered in the minimum and maximum land holding laws for private land. That's a discussion that a lot of people should be following because it's going to change the face of land ownership in this country.
That's right. And on the same, Josh_Maya says, is the land capping law made for poor while the elites are exempt? So just some of those issues. Key participation is needed from the public on that. Thank you for that. Thank you for your views. Of course, too many of those. Speaking of land, tomorrow, as we said, land in this country is very emotive. We have died for land before, and that happened just about a month ago when the 10th director of a parcel of land known as Kehiumwiri was killed. 10 directors killed, I think, in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Dennis Onsarigo has an insightful piece tomorrow that is in place of Checkpoint. It's something you don't want to miss as we continue to focus on land right here on KTN News.
Remember to mark your calendars for that. Save the date for Dennis Onsarigo. Very insightful documentary indeed. Very insightful investigative report with respect to Kehiumwiri. Look at what's been happening in Mboi Committee, and that should explain part of what's happening there as well.
All right, so we'll see you tomorrow when you catch that piece right here on KTN Weekend Prime. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your feedback. My name is Yvonne Okwara Matole.
My name is John Alunamu. Have a great weekend ahead.